Shoot as well. Your boy T here. I'm ready to talk some basketball because we hadn't had any all week. So by my side, we've got the man that loves the Knicks, D-Swizzle. Back again for another episode. Yeah.
Good seeing everyone.
Special guest. Yeah, special guest, RJ, the three-point bomber, down from the West. He's here to make some shots.
Guys, how's it going?
And we try to call Russell Westbrook from Houston, but he basically sent his representative. So we had Jordan.
What's up?
Okay, cool. So let's get into it. So we're gonna go over the last two episodes of the Last Dance, Jordan's I call it Jordan or the Bulls documentary on their last championship. We're up to episodes 7 and 8. So to kick off things. The first topic I wanted to discuss was the conspiracy theory that Jordan was being suspended like during the time where he went off and played baseball. Let's start with D-Swizzle. What you got for us?
Look, I think Jordan addressed it. It was all made up. I mean, it's not really a thing. I mean, I think what brought it home was when one of the journalists outlined the negatives for the league about doing the suspension. I mean, David Stern suspending the best player in the league, and which would have a detrimental impact on the viewer followership. You know, the following of the league, the following of the Bulls. It was all nonsense, and it came from the goat's mouth that it was nonsense. So, I mean, take that as gospel then, if it's coming from the goat.
Move along to Ajay. What do you think?
Before the episode aired, there was a lot of ambiguity. When it first happened, there was a lot of speculation about the whole thing, whether it was the gambling or how bad the gambling was. But really, I think it was really confirmed of what last night's episode, that it was actually not because of his own gambling or his own problems, but really it was two factors that led pretty much to why him retiring, not because of the gambling. So we knew now it's media and his father. So the gambling was really just no. You don't get suspended for gambling. It's his money. He's not in debt. He's not poor. He's not living on the streets. Nah, scrap that. We don't want to hear about it.
And Jones, what do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you pretty much even heard it from David Stern. He confirmed that, why would we, suspend our marquee player, the brand of the NBA, you know what I mean? Like, the one that brings the fans to the seats. What I took from it was that I think he needed to step away from the actual game because there was so much he was going through. And then the reason why he went back to baseball is because that was a passion for him and his dad. That was one thing. Even him and his dad, before he chose basketball, they even argued about what he should be playing baseball because, you know what I mean? He could make it to the major leagues, but he went with basketball and became great. So I think that's also the reason why he left. It just justified everything.
Oh, cool. Okay, you mentioned it, the baseball. So I think that his baseball career was low key, pretty impressive. He had 51 home runs, stole 30 bases. And he had a batting average of 200. So I start with you, George. What do you think about his baseball career?
I'll be honest with you, man. I was actually I didn't realize how good he was at the start with that. Was it 30 hit streaks or 13 hit streaks?
13 game streak, yeah.
13 game hit streaks, you know what I mean? Until they started throwing all those breaker balls at him, you know what I mean? Before that, honestly, everyone was, saying that, he wasn't a great baseballer. But if we actually see the first few games and you actually acknowledge how great he really was, he was able to, go back between two sports just like Deion Sanders did, you know what I mean? So it's pretty hectic.
Ajay or D-Swizzle, what do you guys think?
I think the baseball thing was pretty much because of his father's passing, and they both spoke about it beforehand. And I think he felt it was the right time to, part from basketball at that particular time and moment, and to pretty much do what he did, in the really major leagues, but in baseball itself. So he just wanted to his curiosity really got the better of him and really wanted to try it. And as you can tell, he wasn't that great at the beginning, but as he went forward, and all of them said it, even Terry Francona even said it, if he continued, he would have made major leagues. So it tells you he really put in the work like he would do in the NBA. But that's another thing that's another topic to discuss, I guess, because there was a what was it? There was a lockout. Was that a lockout, or was it?
The NBA.
Yeah.
So NBA, a short lockout. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's happened. So I guess it's to be talked about another time then, because we really don't know what would have happened if he actually went to the major leagues, I guess. D-Swizzle?
Well, I think I'm going to go the other way, because everybody's like, because I'm just going to be
against the grain. Against the grain.
Look, he's playing in the minors. He probably wouldn't have got a shot, and this was said by Reisendorf. He probably wouldn't have got a shot, but for the fact that he was Michael Jordan. People weren't picking up 30-year-olds to put in, even in the minors, right? And it feels as though there are more players who are, drafted in baseball. Russell Wilson was a draft pick. Well, I read during the week that Pat Connaughton, he was drafted as a baseball player as well. So, look, it just, for me, it just showed that his name still being connected to Chicago, given the opportunity by the owner of the Bulls and White Sox. Yeah, if you've got opportunity, you've got a chance to shine. Like, everybody's got a chance to shine. You don't hit shots when you're riding the bench. He was out there. He was making plays. But look, without criticizing a lot about it, to step into an environment where he was not familiar and to do the things he does, that was impressive. And what the other impressive thing was, and you touched on this, RJ, his work ethic. Was the stories about him practicing his batting hours beforehand, at batting practice, and then afterwards. That was impressive. For me, that was the impressive part. Not more so than not as much as the short stint in the minors, but I'm just keeping it real, because someone's got to.
All right. Fair enough.
Let's move along. Okay, let's talk about Jordan's leadership. So in the last episodes, you can see, the pain that he had, right? Yeah. Like he had to lead the way he knew how to lead, even though he wasn't the popular choice at the time, right? So let's start with Jules. What do you think, Jordan?
Pretty much, great leaders pretty much lead by example. Like his work ethic, his drive, his mentality. Like, say when he came back and he saw Steve Kerr and Luke Longley, like just joking around, like for all positive. He's like, that's not the attitude you want to be in, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? Sucker punched Steve Kerr, like, you know what I mean? But like, it just shows the drive and determination that that some players don't have nowadays. Like name players that have like that killer instinct, like that want that big shot, that want to succeed, that want everyone on the same page. That's how you want greatness. That's what greatness is. And that's what made him like elite, like the GOAT of all time, I reckon. Like his leadership was impeccable. Like it was like speechless. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think there was a comment from Jordan when he spoke about Luke Longley and Steve Kerr. That those guys were laughing and mucking around, like they're basically going to win a championship. And then Jordan on the spot told him, "You guys ain't done shit. The 3 championships that we won was without you. So Buckle up. Let's get going.
Yeah, that was so good. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it just says how it is. So RJ, thoughts?
Well, with that one, you can tell he actually said it. He's like, "You guys haven't won shit yet. It's like you've just come to Chicago, and we've got a whole different team now. So you guys got to start." And you can tell in that team, you know, it touched on it from last episode and even now that you can tell that the father is Michael and the mother is Pippen. Everyone loves Pippen because they get along, and Pippen will be the soft one. He's the one that, you know, glues everyone together. But Michael's the father. He's the tough love. He's the alpha dog who's gonna get you to where you have to be. It ain't gonna be easy, but the results will definitely pay off. And as you can tell, 3 championships later, that's what it is. So he had to do what he had to do. And like I said, he didn't do anything that he didn't preach. So he did what he had to do. But in terms of the other players, I don't know if you noticed, everyone's talking in that team, like all the major players, majority of it. But you don't see Longley, do you? I read about that.
Yeah, I think I researched that, and they said that they didn't include Longley because of the budget. This is the official statement, because they didn't have a budget to fly down to Australia to talk to him.
No, he changed his number. He didn't want to be contracted. He didn't want to be part of it.
Oh, wow.
Nah, I think he still hates Jordan. I think he still. Some people, they get over it, and they learn that. What Purdue said, he got over it. He goes, but if you take one step back, he understood why and what he had to do. But I think Longley's still caught up in the anger. I think he changed his number, apparently, according to stories, and he didn't want to be contracted. So he doesn't want to be nothing to do with it.
But then when Longley's house burnt down in Perth, Jordan was one of the first people to send him actually replacements to furniture and things for his house. So I guess we can conclude there that the relationship is a bit rocky.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Tee-Swizzle, what are your thoughts?
Look, everyone's got their own management style.
Yeah.
Some people are, a little bit more accommodating than others. I wouldn't want Jordan barking at me. That's just me personally. And I would have thought that they would have still won, even if Jordan was a bit softer. But that's my personal view.
Wow, gee, I don't know, man.
I am
Let it finish, guys. Give me a chance.
I just think that whilst the outcome was championships, is it a means to an end? Is the end justify the means? Sorry, that's what I want to say. Does the ends justify the means? Is the chip really worth those personal relationships? We've touched on here. Maybe Luke and Jordan don't get along now. Is a piece of silverware and legacy worth those personal connections?
Yeah.
I'll be the one on the other side of the fence again. All right?
That's the lawyer side coming out of him.
Look, I think it was a bit tough, the way he got on with others, but he responded to others who pushed back. And that was what was the interesting thing I got out of the episode, was that Kerr, when he was talking about the way Jordan had treated him, and then he finally stood up to him, Jordan respected him more. Same with the rest of the players. Scott Burrell in particular, being right. the young gun on the team, and him always getting picked on by Mike. I mean, what I didn't really like about it is it was the bully mentality, and that's something I'm not for.
But I think what he's trying to do is just elevate that next level. Like, he knows that everyone is worthy to be great, but he wants you to be on the same page as him. That's what I like. Like, I get what you mean, the bully mentality, but I think
there's no choice there. It's not having the player choose. It's forcing a hand. It's not having the player, find it within themselves that everybody's entitled to. Find the strength within themselves to achieve something. I I don't know. Maybe it worked. Like I said, when we look back on it now, it seems worthwhile because they won.
Of course.
They won the chips.
Yeah.
But if they didn't win the chips, totally different story. But the behavior is still the same. And that's what I've got issues with.
Or like Jordan said, he goes, if you want to be great, that's great, but you haven't won shit. So he pushed them, they won. Come on. Come on.
I'm not doubting that they were great because of the rings that they hold now, right? And a lot of them have rings, multiple rings. You look at Kerr. Kerr's got 8, 3, 5 as a player and 3 as a coach. I mean, he's starting he's getting to the point where he's going to not have enough fingers on his hands for his rings soon. Jackson's got multiple rings, heaps of rings. It's just incredible the way that, people value these championships. I don't know. I'm just taking a more philosophical road and viewpoint on this, but that's just.
Hey man, we're open, so we're here to discuss. That's what we're here for. All right, so let's move on to the next section. So during the episodes, Jordan got given like the iPad to hear people's interviews and answers or anything. Like for me, I thought this was like a mic drop moment. Like it was epic, right? So I start with you, T-Swizzle. Let's talk about Peyton's interview and how Jordan reacted. Thoughts?
I think this is one of the moments where he's the most kind. Look, I with UT, I enjoy the moments where Jordan reflects on what other people are saying currently about what happened in the past. I'm enjoying his little reflections and his little giggles that he's having. It shows his softer side and his more mellow side that he's developed into in his older age. And what with Peyton? Oh, look, Peyton was known as a dog defender. Could creep underneath your skin. I think the only one who was immune to Peyton's antics was John Stockton. And they had a different kind of relationship and competitive relationship. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the person that Stockton got was the reverse way. The person that Peyton used to induct him into the Hall of Fame was John Stockton. That was the relationship that they had. Was Peyton asking Stockton to do his intro to the Hall of Fame, and I thought that was a big thing. But the getting under Mike's skin, I mean, I think Mike's the one getting underneath everybody's skin. It was a good laugh though. That moment where Mike was looking at the iPad, yeah,
definitely.
All right, RJ, let's move on to the next mic drop moment when Nick Anderson had a comment saying 45 ain't the same as 23, and explain to me how you thought of that and what happened to Nick Anderson.
Number one, that was a bad move. You never stir the pot of the monster. You never wake up a sleeping monster like that. You just don't. You just don't say anything. Second of all, he should have been blamed for the 4 free throws that he didn't hit against Houston. So that's another story. But anyway, but Nick Anderson later on, he didn't really become part of a starting lineup. Really, I don't think after Orlando. But I don't think he shouldn't have done that because like as all you guys know that Jordan uses anything as fuel to get himself out. He would even make it up. I'm sure you watched it last night with the Bradford Smith. That same thing. You just don't say anything. 45 is not different. 23. And then what happened? They got swept. They killed them the year before, and then they swept them, and then Bulls swept them the following year, simply because of pretty much that. And I'm sure Jordan that's all he had in his head was that comment. Just to smash Orlando. That's it. Everyone else was irrelevant. So, Nick Anderson, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have said it, dude. You should have just kept quiet.
Hey, RJ, you touched on a little bit when Bradford Smith scored 37 points on him.
Mm.
And then he apparently said that he told Jordan it was a nice game. But it turns out that
Jordan made it up. That's what I mean. See, he made it up. Any form of motivation he's using, and he'll just like, you know what? He said that to me. Let's just do it. Let's just kill him. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyone
Okay.
else got an issue with this? I think that's weird. That's really psychotic. That's weird.
He's borderline psychotic.
Am I the only one
it
to
is.
point this out?
It is, yeah.
I think myself and RJ, we have that mentality, so we can relate. But yeah, it seems the panel today is a bit even, so it's good. So George, I'll move on to you, George. And the last mic drop moment was George Cow he was head coach of the Sonics. He saw Jordan in a restaurant, and he just didn't say anything to him. Just walked past him without saying hello.
Bro, that was just a dog shot. That was a bit slack, man. I was like, bro, you don't goes back to like what I just said. You don't fuel the beast. You don't fuel him. Like, you don't poke the target, man. Like, he will use any form of fuel to like drive his passion. Like, his passion is to win. If you don't want to acknowledge him, then he's gonna make sure that you acknowledge his greatness. Like, oh man, like I go back to that game, like where I feel like he had so much going on during that series.
The final series,
But then but what was epic was that, like, because that was the season where he won it on Father's Day, and that's what was like. I don't know if that got you guys, but man,
That's correct. You're right.
Man,
we'll
like,
get there.
yeah, nah, that was. You don't want, like I said, you don't want to fuel that base, like, yeah, man.
I'm feeling really argumentative tonight, as you can tell. Double standards. We touched upon this last week, RJ, when we were having a chat about episodes. What was it, 5 and 6 last week? Jordan having a bit of a whine that, you know, all the attention has got to him, and now this episode, Carl just letting him have dinner, enjoying his dinner. He has a bitch about it. I mean, come on, double standards.
Dex, it's like you walking past me in a restaurant, not even saying hello, but we play ball together outside. You gotta say
That's
at
right.
least hello.
Yeah, you gotta.
You can't be a snob.
Some
I mean,
some
come
form
on.
of, like, even
It's
a
gonna be
nod, just a nod at least.
Yeah.
Maybe George Carl was just seeing that Mike was enjoying his dinner, and he didn't.
No, they know each other quite well. Actually, they're not strangers to each other.
Oh.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, and back to what you said before about how Hayden was saying that I guarded Jordan, and that's why he was laughing. He was struggling. Probably, I think the Father's Day starting to get to him in Game 5. That's why he said there was a lot of things going on. He said because he knows it was approaching Father's Day, and that was getting to him, not because of Payton's defense. Payton was already guarding him between games 1, 2, and 3. So, and he won. He performed well. So for him to say that, I think that's incorrect. I think it's because of the day that was approaching. That was really
even his mom said it as well. His mom said, like, there was a lot going on leading up to that. You know what I mean? So goes back to that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. So, question or statement is: did anyone not learn not to trash talk or celebrate in front of Jordan? There's two things. There's two things I'm looking at. These, I guess, he's trash talks everyone, right? So even his GM constantly just telling him short jokes. Do you take those pills because to keep you short? Do you want to do laps with us because we'll lower the wing for you? It's constant, right? It's constant trash talking. And then people come back to him, and then he just demolishes them, as we've talked about. So a couple of key pointers or a couple of key moments that I wanted to discuss was BJ Armstrong, the way that in round one of the playoff series, like he won one of the games off the Bulls, he tended to celebrate on the court as a Charlotte Hornet, and that drove the Bulls not to lose another game in that round. Your thoughts, T-Swizzle?
Good for BJ. You know, you hit big shots, you should be able to celebrate.
Here we go.
Man. like this whole the mentality was, you know, why be afraid of the GOAT if, you know, you talk trash to him? Talk trash to the GOAT. See what happens. You know, I think if everyone pandered to the GOAT, it wouldn't have made the league entertaining. You know, these rivalries are rivalries for a reason. And, you know, Orlando got the better of the Bulls in 94-95 when they beat them in the East semis. Horace Grant was praised as the hero in that series, coming back to play the Chicago Bulls and coming back victorious. Talk trash. It can be done, as Orlando did that year. Mind you, yes, Jordan was only coming back from his little hiatus in, you know, the minors. But, you know, I'm all up for people talking trash as long as they can back it up. And in that moment, BJ Armstrong backed up his words. So good for BJ. But
I just want to go back to, like, you know, people learning not to trash talk Jordan. Horace Grant even said, he goes, bro, you don't fire that beast. You don't add fuel to the fire. Like, you don't want to start it because he knows what's coming. So Horace Grant didn't talk too much trash, but, like, man, like, he learned his lesson, I reckon. Everyone else didn't. So.
Thoughts, RJ?
Back to Dexter's point. With Horace, he didn't so much. I think, look, both players did two things. They got into the emotion too much, and they were in the moment too much, and that's fine. They can be in the moment. There's no problem being in the moment, but the problem is being in the moment will be shown to the GOAT. I mean, Horace didn't say anything. He just celebrated on the court with Chicago. Jordan saw that, didn't like it, and responded the following year. But with BJ, he celebrated and he really, like, threw his arms and everything, and you know. And Jordan, of course, responded by saying, well, BJ, I don't think BJ knows what we're like. So there you go. And he responded the next couple of games and demolished them. So they did it once, that's fine. But, you know, for a fact that, you know, it's a rotation. It'll eventually come back to you. And I don't think you should really do it because it's just karma. Karma, bro.
my thought process is this, though. If you don't enjoy the happy moments, you're never going to be happy, right? And it just speaks volumes of how much fear everybody had of being human, of celebrating happy moments for the, you know, reprisal of the great GOAT coming back the next game. I mean, the world does not revolve around Jordan, even though everybody pandered that it did. You shouldn't
it's
have
almost like that.
See, my thoughts are, I guess, I'm starting on Dex on this because to beat the GOAT and beat him in one game, it's a lifetime achievement. Like, to be able to score multiple, like, 30-point game on Jordan is something that it doesn't come very often. And you think about the finals when they played against Portland. What did Clyde do? Clyde knew that was coming for him. Clyde didn't talk to him, didn't say anything. And Jordan still demolished him because people were comparing them. They were saying that they were similar and they were the similar type of player. That's why Portland didn't draft him. So,
but Magic got to him. Because apparently Magic was playing cards with Jordan the night before, because, you know, Magic was doing the commentating for that game, and number one, that comment when he said that, oh, you and Clyde are almost the same, and that pissed him off. Number one. Number two, Magic goes, you know what's coming tomorrow, right? You know the game's tomorrow. So that's sort of egging him on still, and that's another wood in the fire right there. See, so it's like there you go. It's best not to stir, bro, in any form.
But the thing is, Clyde did nothing. It wasn't Clyde. Was
Oh no, Clyde, I feel sorry for
No.
Clyde. Clyde was an innocent bystander. He didn't do nothing. But
It was
sorry,
all
Clyde.
Jordan. He found any form
That's
of
right.
motivation. That's what it was.
Sure. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So, do you know the footage of Jordan, I guess, getting that championship, beating the Sonics on Father's Day? For me, it was pretty heartbreaking. Like, just to see him, you see him as an idol. I remember watching it at the time and just thinking to myself, wow, how can we be so upset? And we didn't see the extent of it. Like, when we watched the documentary on the Bulls season, it just showed a glimpse of it, right? The last episode was, it showed like the extended version where he actually broke down by himself with the ball. So thoughts, Jordan?
I felt like that was it was a release of everything that was built up, from the reason why he retired to like losing his father to going to baseball. Just the release, just the built up of all this pressure, all this expectation. There was just so much, and for him winning that ring was just like, especially on Father's Day, that was like the icing on the cake. Like if he won it, if they sweep the Sonics and he won it on that day, I would just be like, oh look, he's celebrating the ring. But because he won on Father's Day, just especially for his dad, that was just like, that just like completed everything. Like that's why he released all his emotions, and like to see that raw footage, especially from Jordan, is just, it just makes you, it just like, oh wow, he's really human. Like, so it hit close to home for me, and I guess for everyone else as well. Yeah.
Guys, what did you think? Dissin?
It was the end of a historic season. 72-10 Bulls, capping off with a chip. The thing was, it went beyond that, and the lads here just have touched upon that. It was when they showed that photo of Jordan winning the first championship and his dad by his side when he was holding the Larry O'Brien. It just brought home how much, of a role his dad played in his whole life, in his whole career, really. And to see that emotion from him, because he would have had to hold it. It's a long NBA season. It's a long second half of the season with the playoffs. It's a lot of suppressing emotion to be, to not be vulnerable, or to be seen as vulnerable. And I think that was it was important to show everyone that footage, because he wasn't he's not a robot. He's man. He's a man as well as everybody else. So it was quite it was quite. I suppose the word would be, it was really eye-opening to see that side of Jordan, because you don't see that even when he's talking about he's reflecting now. I mean, he got a bit teary when he was talking about his leadership style, and he had to call a break for the interview, and you hardly see that kind of emotion on him. You see emotion, the fiery emotion, in Jordan, but not the softer side. And I thought that was pretty telling. Yeah.
Roger?
Well, as a father, I take that perspective where, you sort of think about the way he was always looking to his father for approval, and always seeking his guidance and his advice. And I got to admit that hit home hard. I was sleeping beside my baby while I was watching it. I can admit right now, I know there's a podcast, man. I'll admit I'll tear up too, because I was like, oh wow, like being a dad is like, it's a responsibility, and knowing that he won that championship for the first time without his dad being there is it's just something, because he was always there, you know, and whether he was watching, but spiritually he was there, but physically he wasn't there. So that was a real special thing, and that was really touching, that I thought, so Jordan is actually human. Jordan actually has emotions. And going back to Dexter's, D-Swizzle's point, the vulnerable side came out. And that was really something different, because you never really saw that. That's right. And during the season, it was suppressed emotions. It's all about go, go, go. It's about passion. It's about drive. It's about, you know, killing everyone around you, and to win. So for me, that was quite a different type of side to Jordan that I have never seen. I've like T said before, he saw snippets. I saw snippets too, but I didn't see the full raw footage until now. And I thought, well, that really hit home, and that really was really, really, you know, touching. Well, that's for me anyway. So
yeah, so that like the whole episode, and the director did it really well. I think to show all the highlights of Jordan being the beast, like just trash talking everyone, and then to take it to the next level and drop it to make Jordan feel like he was human. So yeah, it was definitely good directing and good producing on their part. Yeah. So let's discuss one more topic that I guess is a bonus topic for people who listen to us all the way to them. Pippen's 1.8 second of abandoning his team against your beloved New York Knicks. Tee-Swizzle, I'll start with you because this is close to your heart. What do you think towards, I guess, Pippen's actions at the time, and expand on what you think about that?
He did the wrong thing. He's acknowledged it. Staying on his epic Hall of Fame career, it's a big no-no, isn't it? You know, you get called to, you know, and these are the moments that players live for. Those moments to be on the court when the deciding shot goes up, and to have the shits because the new kid in town's got the last shot. I mean, the coach is there for a reason. The coach knows his team better than everybody else. And if Kukoc missed that shot, the person that was going to get bagged out was going to be Phil Jackson, not Tony. It was going to be Phil for making that decision. And I just thought that Scotty approached it the wrong way. And, you know, what was most telling for me was when they were interviewing him, you know, 20 years later, and he said, "No, I wouldn't change anything." I thought that was to me.
What's up, AJ? What do you think?
when I saw that, I just thought, this guy got in the way of himself. And his teammates said it best. He quit on the team. Yeah. This is a team game. You need each other to win. You can't just win on your own. I mean, Jordan's not there. That's an exception. But for him to say, well, I'm the most dangerous man on the team now. And I thought, you're just a facilitator. You're not a scorer. But you have to understand your role. And, you know, that comes back to what LeBron is right now. He's a facilitator. If he needs to take it, yeah, he needs to take it. But Phil didn't see it that way. He knew that, well, Tony made big shots before. I'm sure he can hit this, so I'm going to give it to him. But that time, his ego got in the way of it. He didn't respond as the leader. He responded as, well, my ego's first. I need to win it for the team, not Tony. But I just felt that it was wrong actions. He shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I felt like Pippen, because he was underpaid, Tony was paid more, Jordan was retired, and Pippen's like, this is my turn. Like, I should be the main man. And then because he didn't get the opportunity, he's like, what the hell? But Jordan would never do that, right? And Jordan did that plenty of times in his career, giving up the last shot for a role player, and he never quit on the team. So this documentary kind of made Pippen look bad in a way where, you know, I guess we touched on it with other episodes about his contract and his attitude towards everything. So, and Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I always when it goes back to like how Dex says, like 20 years later, Pippen goes, "Oh, I wouldn't change it for a thing." I was like, yeah, even Jordan said, like, you know, yeah, it was the wrong move for Jordan to say that. Yeah, it says something like, it goes back to like when Jordan trusted Steve Kerr with that shot. to win. Like you might not always have the game-winning shot, but you also have to trust your team. Like you have to trust those players around you. You're not always going to get the great shot. Someone else will. You know what I mean? So it all comes down to like being a great leader and then trusting everyone around you. So I guess he didn't trust, Kukoc at the time, which, it is a bit of a stain. So, but
yeah, like you. Yeah, keep going.
no, yeah.
Yeah, like he was being petty. I felt like he was
Yeah.
being petty. Like you think about team and what happens in the locker room. Like it doesn't matter if you don't like each other. When you get on court, you play the game and you play to win.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is just rounding off the podcast, guys. Any more views on the last 2 episodes that we didn't discuss yet?
Oh, just on Pips. I thought they've portrayed him. He's been the most enjoyable interviewee on the show. He's always like he's calm. He's the way he talks. And some of my friends have commented on this with me. Is I like Pippen the best because just the way he presents himself. I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's just like easy come, easy go kind of guy. I just it's just a bit strange that through his career, and it was showcased in episode 8 how people turned to him as he was like the big brother. He made everyone feel better. It was just a bit of a aberration that one moment where ego got the better of him. I thought that was and it's immortalized, like it's on film. Like, oh God. So be careful of what you say and what you do and what you write down, because once it leaves your mouth, once it leaves your brain, it can't come back.
That's forever on YouTube. You got to think about it.
Yeah. No, I want to highlight what RJ said. Like he summed it up perfectly. Jordan is like the father figure and Pippen is like the mother figure. I was like, wow, when he said that, I was like, that is so true. You know what I mean? Like, it is so true.
As a parent, it's true, dude, because you're the one who has to build those guys. You're the one leading by example. You're the one who has to be the guy who has to deliver the bad news because it's your job. It's your role. You can't have 2 Pippins on the team. You'll end up being like the Orlando Magic. But anyway, enough with that point. But like I said, yeah, Jordan, you're right. Someone has to do it. And unfortunately, Jordan had to put his hand up and he did it. What can you say?
I've just got one final point, and I think we can leave off with this because I'm really keen to see what episode 9 will bring. We've talked about on this episode of the podcast about, poking the bear, not stirring things up. And Reggie Miller at the end there says, I want to be the guy that puts Jordan in retirement. I thought, mate, fireworks going to come.
That was a great way to end it.
Shit talking, mate. It's Miller time, baby. It's Miller time.
Oh, that's so good.
All right, guys. Great chat. We'll just wrap it up. Thanks for coming on the channel, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, T. Thanks, D-Swizzle. Thanks, Jordan.
All right, catch you guys.
Yeah, guys. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, we're on Spotify and on YouTube and also on podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So subscribe to us, show us some love, show us that we're doing something right and you like our content, and we'll keep on producing it. Thanks a lot, guys. Later.
See you guys.
See ya.